Okay, can you try it again?
Okay, I'm,
You're good.
okay, glad to hear it.
We don't have the, yeah, we don't have the, no. I thought the hotel one would be on this one.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to call this meeting to order. It is 7:30. This is the regular council meeting for February 28th. Clerk, can you please do a roll call?
Councilman Bliss,
I'm here.
Mayor Pro Tem Corbett. Mayor Pro Tem Corbett.
Mayor Pro Tem Corbett is calling in, so let's give him a minute.
I think
Bob, they're calling roll for you.
Mayor Pro Tem Corbett.
Yes, present. I didn't, by the way, I didn't hear the call prior to that.
Councilman Fleming.
Here.
Councilor Rohrbach.
I'm here.
Councilman Soltis.
Here.
Councilor Wright. Mayor Grafstein.
I am here, thank you. Can I please have a motion to excuse Councilor Wright? He did give notice.
Your Honor, I move we excuse Councilor Wright.
Thank you. Can I have support?
Your Honor, I'll support.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against say no. Motion carries. Councilor Wright has been excused. Invocation and pledge this evening will be led by me. I ask those who are able to please stand for the pledge. Tonight, in lieu of an actual invocation, I just ask that everybody take a moment and reflect on what is going on in the world around us and what we as individuals can do to promote good in the world. Thank you.
Excuse me, Your Honor. I'm just going to ask you to speak up a bit more. I'm having a hard time hearing you, and I don't know if other people will be too.
I'm going to
I
take
think in order for Bob to hear too, you have to talk really loud
Okay.
directly into the microphone.
Okay. Is this good? Can everyone hear me? I'm going to take that as a yes. Okay. First up, we have approval of the agenda. Are there any additions or deletions this evening? Was there an addition we needed to put in, or no?
Not that I'm aware of.
No, okay. So there are none, so we'll move on to presentations. First up, we have meeting open to the public. So this is the opportunity for the public to speak. Ask that you state your name, any affiliation with the city, address, that kind of thing, and keep your comments to 3 minutes. And with that, I open to the public.
Hi, Martha Covert, Edward Avenue. I see that on the agenda tonight is let me get it right, the texting ordinance. Finally, this needs to be done. If you live where I live, people zip around that corner, and I've been almost T-boned coming out of my driveway as they're eating their chicken from KFC, their burrito from Taco Bell, whatever. And this will be nice to see that when you call the police, they're going to be able to say, yeah, there's something we can do now. So I thank you for that. And I would like to say it would be nice to see, okay, but we've had 3 coffee concerts. We have the 4th one coming up, and we've seen nobody. We support you guys. Shouldn't you support us? Just a thought. That's all.
Thank you.
Joy Aaron, 29596 Towers. I just want to give a shout out and a big thank you to the DPS for keeping our roads clean during the last few snowstorms that we've had. Leaving from Madison Heights going to Mount Clemens, I traveled through a few cities And I have to say that our roads have been very well kept up with all the snow. So a big round of applause for DPS.
Thank you. Is there anyone else?
Good evening. My name is Stephanie Chang. I am currently a state senator in Detroit and Downriver, but with redistricting, I'm very much looking forward to getting to know the city of Madison Heights. So I just wanted to come by and introduce myself as the Senate district that I am running for re-election in does include all of Madison Heights. I've spoken with a couple of you and looking forward to getting to know all of you. So just here to listen in, hear what's going on, but just a little bit about me. I'm a former community organizer, always worked for nonprofits before running for office. I did serve 2 terms in the state house before moving over to the Senate. Extremely hard worker and really committed to our values of opportunity, access, equity, and justice, and looking forward to getting to know all of you. So thanks for having me here and looking forward to listening in on the meeting.
Thank you, Senator. Is there anyone else who wanted to speak this evening? Okay, with that, I'm going to close public comment. And we've got communications from the city manager regarding the purchase of the replacement senior passenger bus.
The fiscal year 2022 budget includes the replacement of a senior bus 471, which is a 2002 Bluebird bus that was in very poor condition. Staff started working on a request for proposals for a replacement and discovered a couple of things. First, prices of buses and vehicles in general have gone up significantly since the original estimate, and our budget no longer covers the cost of a new bus. Number 2, buses that meet our specifications have a 24 to 36-month lead time for delivery. Based on this, staff began looking for a quality used bus that would meet our specifications. One was located in Ohio for $139,990. Staff inspected this bus and determined that it would perfectly suit our needs and was in good mechanical shape. It has been built well by a quality company and is in very good engine and drivetrain condition, and the fit and finish of the coach work have been done exceptionally well. It also has an engine in the same family as our Freightliner dump trucks, which allows for greater standardization of filters and other maintenance materials. New, this bus would retail for approximately $250,000, making this purchase for the used unit financially advantageous for the city. The bus was tentatively being held for 2 days until the city until February the 18th. Based on this information and the time sensitivity of the purchase, I communicated with City Council and then enacted my authority under Section 2.255 of the Charter for an emergency purchase. As the purchase has already been made, this item is for informational purposes only, and City Council is being asked to receive and file this information.
All right, thank you. Can I please get a motion from council to receive and file this?
Your Honor.
Your Honor,
Mayor Pro Tem Corbett?
I would, yeah, I'm the voice over your shoulder. I move to receive and file item C1.
All right, thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor, I'll second.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded to receive and file. Is there any discussion?
Your Honor, real quick, I'm really glad to see this. It's a little bit longer than I expected. Saying that I was one of the participants, and we drove up to Lansing with the seniors, and we had a broken down bus. So I'm glad to see that, and so we won't have any more incidents like that. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Is there any other discussion, comments? All right, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, say no. Motion carries. Thank you. Next up, we have a report from the CED Director regarding extension of waivers for temporary outdoor seating.
In June of 2020, City Council adopted a resolution that authorized the city manager to allow businesses to expand outdoor seating areas and construct temporary shelters to support outdoor service when indoor dining was restricted. City Council later extended this resolution with an ending of December 31st, 2021, or when businesses could reopen at full capacity. The state has now lifted these restrictions. Today, all but 2 bars and restaurants that have taken advantage of this waiver have already returned to their regular business practices and have removed their temporary additional outdoor seating. Therefore, this resolution extends the waiver to continue to allow these businesses to operate with temporary tents until May the 2nd of 2022, giving these two businesses plenty of time to comply and allow staff time to reach out to them to discuss the changes and options for permanent outdoor seating of their businesses moving forward. Also, on October 25th of 2021, City Council approved the recommended Ordinance 2170 to amend the outdoor seating to provide standards for outdoor entertainment, enclosures, and shade structures, and provide parking requirements flexibility to restaurants, adding permanent outdoor seating. The goal of this ordinance was to allow for greater flexibility for restaurants to include outdoor seating options and ensure that patrons could enjoy safe and permanent outdoor seating areas. Therefore, staff and I recommend that City Council approve the resolution as presented, which extends the waiver for specific zoning regulations to support businesses during COVID until May the 2nd, 2022.
Thank you. What is the wish of council?
Your Honor,
Bliss?
I move that we approve the resolution as presented, extending the waivers until May 2nd, 2022.
Thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor, I'll support.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Your Honor?
Yes.
Since we've got our economic development crew in the audience, I was wondering if we could go over just really quickly for any businesses who might be listening or residents who want to be able to share with businesses what some of the ongoing changes that they can take advantage of with Ordinance 2170 that we did a while back. I think it's pertinent information. As the emergency is falling off, there is a pathway to expanded outdoor seating that we've already passed.
Yes, so in October 21, council adopted ordinances pertaining to outdoor seating. It handled items such as decibel levels outdoors. It also allowed for, essentially, it reduced the relationship in certain cases between parking and allowing for more outdoor seating. So, as an example, for plans showing more than 20 occupants within an outdoor seating area with minimum parking required, basically what we're trying to do is give a little bit of a wiggle room where if you wanted to add a small amount of outdoor seating, it's not going to drastically impact your parking requirement. For very simple outdoor seating, you know, like the coffee shop that wants to have a few tables out, we're asking for a conceptual site plan, nothing too significant. There are instances where if it's a significant amount of outdoor seating that is going to impact the parking requirements, we do require a site plan. So the best thing that businesses can do is just reach out to our office. You can talk to myself, Giles Tucker, or our city planner, Matt Launerstatter, and we'll be able to point you in the right direction. And appreciate council's efforts, as well as the planning commission, on being accommodating to businesses, giving staff the amount of flexibility that we need in order to encourage outdoor seating for a lot of our uses.
Just to add to, one thing I think is cool about the new Matt Launerstatter, city planner, thank you. We now allow for outdoor music, whereas before, anything that related to entertainment, even if it was just someone with an acoustic guitar, required special use approval through this board. So now we're taking a step back and looking more at just the decibel level. If the decibel level is under a certain amount, regardless of what you're performing, you're allowed to do it. We certainly encourage that type of entertainment. So again, we're here to answer any questions you have, but hopefully we can see some more outdoor dining when the weather gets better. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion from council? Questions, comments? All right. Seeing none. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Those against say no. Motion carries. Thank you. Next up, we have a number of bids and awards. First one is for the demolition contract for 901 and 945-959 East 10 Mile Road. Mrs. Marsh?
The City of Madison Heights has been awarded 2 grants for the demolition of 901 and 945-959 East 10 Mile. The recommendation for this demolition contractor was made by the city in conjunction with Eagle representatives with unanimous agreement that Adams Group Demolition is the most responsible bidder who understands the nature of the matter, and there is no advantage to the city of awarding the bid to anyone else. Therefore, City Council is being asked to approve a contract with Adams Group Demolition out of Rochester Hills to demolish these building structures in the amount of $412,154.
All right, thank you. What is the wish of council?
Your Honor,
Councilor Bob?
I move that council awards the contract for the demolition of 901 and 945, 959 East 10 Mile Road to the Adams Group Demolition of Rochester Hills for the amount of $412,154.
Thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor, I'll support.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? All right, seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against, say no. Motion carries. Thank you. Next up, from the CED Director, Professional Services Agreement for Zoning Ordinance Rewrite.
Staff issued a request for a proposal for planning services consultant to develop a new user-friendly zoning ordinance consistent with the Madison Heights 2021 Master Plan. The new ordinance will also help Madison Heights obtain certification through the Michigan Economic Development Corporation's Redevelopment Ready Communities program. The city received 5 responses to this RFP. The review committee was established from representatives from the Planning Commission, the Planning Department, CED, City Manager, and the HR Purchasing Coordinator. The selection committee reviewed and evaluated the proposals, reviewed zoning rewrites completed in other communities, and conducted interviews, resulting in the committee's unanimous recommendation to award the zoning ordinance rewrite to McKenna. Michigan Economic Development Corporation's Redevelopment Ready Communities Technical Assistance Grant does provide grants for zoning rewrites. Therefore, staff anticipates submitting for this grant for a maximum amount of $30,000 in 2 payments to be distributed next fiscal year. Staff and I recommend that City Council approve the agreement with McKenna for professional services to assist Madison Heights with the zoning ordinance rewrite for an amount not to exceed $55,000, and authorize the city manager to sign on behalf of the city, subject to legal final review. And we do have 2 representatives here from McKenna tonight, John and Adam.
All right, thank you. What is the wish of council?
Your Honor?
Yes.
I move that we approve the agreement with McKenna for professional services geared towards assisting us with a zoning ordinance rewrite with a total amount not to exceed $55,000. I'd also like to include in my motion that we authorize the mayor and the clerk to sign on behalf of the city.
All right, thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor, I'll support.
I actually have a correction. I had to change it, the city manager's signing on behalf of the city.
So amended.
Bliss? Councilor Rohrbach? So amended?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Is there any other discussion? Anything, anyone,
Your Honor,
please?
per the city manager's comments, I would ask the maker of the motion and support to agree, subject to city attorney's final review.
Also amended.
Agreed.
All right, thank you. With those 2 changes, is there any other discussion from council?
Your Honor?
Please.
Since we have 2 representatives in the audience, I mean, if we could give them like a minute or so to talk about the project, I think our residents would love to hear that.
Sure.
Hi.
Good evening, and thank you very much. We appreciate it. We're very excited about this opportunity. My name's John Jackson. I'm the president and owner of McKenna. And with me tonight is Adam Cook, who's going to be working on the zoning ordinance, along with Hunter Whitehill, who is on a much-deserved vacation tonight and couldn't make it tonight. But again, we're very excited about this opportunity. We understand the major priorities here are to implement the city's recently completed master plan in alignment with the state's redevelopment ready certification process. So we've done that in a number of other communities, and we're prepared to help Madison Heights with that endeavor as well. The bottom line is, you get what you zone for. So this zoning ordinance is going to reflect the values of Madison Heights, help put you in a competitive advantage against other communities when trying to attract new development and redevelopment. That's the situation you're in as a mature community. And just listening to the ordinance amendment earlier tonight regarding the outdoor seating and how creative staff was and of course, Planning Commission and Council ultimately to remove barriers to the kind of development you want to get. That's the kind of communities we like to work for and the kind of things that we're going to include in this zoning update. So with that, we'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you. Any questions from council?
Your Honor, it's not really a question, but I want to say, I've been talking to a lot of business owners lately, and I know that our previous mayor and council, before I came on in 2019, was, we've been working towards this for a long time, making it more accessible for businesses to establish or redevelop properties and things like that. And I know that the business owners that I've been talking to are really excited about this. They're excited about the opportunity to make it more accessible to come into Madison Heights and, find buildings that need to be reused and updated and make it a more accessible place for people to come in and start businesses and be successful in that. I'm really excited about that opportunity. It's a long time coming. We always say that city government is like a Titanic. Well, not Titanic. It's a very, very hard to turn ship sometimes. It takes a long time. So I appreciate the residents' understanding and being willing to come along on this ride to get us to where we are today.
All right, thank you. Any other comments?
Your Honor, just that if Celine sings the song, I'm okay with it being Titanic.
I can do it.
I think that it's, things take a long time. This has been in process for a long time, is probably a good way of putting that too. Any other comments from council, questions? All right, thank you for coming this evening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. If there's no more discussion, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Those against say no. Motion carries, thank you. Next up, we have the Civic Center Complex bid package number 1, the elevator and HVAC equipment.
Considering the construction environment, supply chain issues, and lead times for certain products and equipment, early bid packages have been prepared and released for the HVAC equipment, elevator equipment, building steel, and roof insulation. This strategy provides for better pricing and a more cost-effective sequencing of construction through the design-build-delivery method. The first early bid package for HVAC and elevator equipment is being presented for City Council's consideration tonight, prior to having the total project bid, in order for those specific projects to get slotted into manufacturing and fabrication schedules. We are planning to bid the total project in April. At that time, if the total project is not acceptable to City Council, we do have an option to cancel these early bid pack approvals. This bid package for HVAC and elevator equipment was publicly bid by our consultant Frank Rewall & Sons, according to city requirements. All contracts are based on plans and specifications for the project. The elevator is a complete furnish and install contract. The elevator contract does require a 30% down payment prior to the start of shop drawings. The HVAC contract is for equipment only. Frank Rewall has reviewed all bids received and, considering price, quality, and bid specifications, recommends City Council approve these components as follows. Elevator from Cone Inc. for $89,508. HVAC cabinet unit heaters from Bennett, Holland & Associates for $11,622. HVAC air thermal units from Carrier Great Lakes for $42,029. HVAC rooftop units from Carrier Great Lakes for $173,728. HVAC boilers from the Macomb Group for $31,148. And HVAC hydraulic pumps and VFDs from R.L. Dumpman Company for $11,084, for a total of $359,119. So I won't make you repeat all of that again. We're only looking for a motion to concur with Frank Rewall representatives and we recommend City Council approve the recommendation for the elevator and HVAC equipment as described above for a total of $359,119.
Thank you. What is the wish of council?
Your Honor,
Councilor Robb.
I move that council concurs with staff and Frank Rewald representatives to approve the recommendation for elevator and HVAC equipment as described previously for a total of $359,119.
All right, thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor, all support.
All right, thank you. Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? All right, seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 All against, say no. Motion carries. Thank you. Next up, we have two from the information technology area. First is migration to Microsoft 365.
At the December meeting for the Information Technology Advisory Committee, the city's IT provider reviewed the past year's performance and discussed issues facing the city's technology environment. At this meeting, the ITEC unanimously approved recommending that City Council move forward with the migration of Microsoft 365 ahead of the budget schedule due to security issues. This migration requires an annual license at a current rate of $29,196 to be budgeted at a reoccurring expense for future years. We also require a migration utility for a one-time cost of $3,850. Therefore, BPI, ITEC, and I recommend City Council approve the implementation of Microsoft 365 for $33,046. This will also require a budget amendment for $33,046 to account 101-258-9820-000. This will require a supermajority or 5 votes of council.
All right, thank you. What is the wish of council?
Your Honor,
Mr. Bliss?
let's do the budget amendment first. I move that we approve a budget amendment of $33,046 to account 101-258-9820-000.
All right, is there support?
Your Honor, all support.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? All right, seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Those against say no. Motion carries. And then, what is the wish of council for the second part of that?
Your Honor?
Please.
I move that we approve the implementation of Microsoft 365 for $33,046.
All right, thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor, support.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Your Honor?
Yep.
Just a couple of quick comments. This is the first of a few recommended cybersecurity initiatives that ITEC pushed forward. This was something that was in the long-term plan, but there's been a heavy recent increase in municipal cyber attacks. And so as local governments are getting attacked, we need to make sure that we're doing everything that we can to keep the information here at City Hall as safe as possible, and keep the people here at City Hall as safe as possible. You know, we have departments that deal with life and death emergencies. It'd be best not to cause them another one. So this is critical for us. Office 365, it doesn't sound like much because most of us use it in our professional lives, but the biggest changes are that there are secure cloud servers that have patched firewalls on a frequent basis. So when a threat is found, Microsoft 365 will do all the work to do the patch, whereas in the old model, that patch might come a day, 2, a week later, which means we're vulnerable to that threat during that time. It also has multi-factor authentication for our employees, and then much more frequent security upgrades and enhanced threat protection that's going onto every device that has Office 365. So this is the first. I'm assuming we're going to see in future agendas the annual penetration testing, where we have a third-party company effectively try to break into our firewall and try to trick our employees and into things to download like suspicious malware. We're also going to be doing employee security awareness training. So all of these things kind of come together, and it is an annual cost that we didn't have before. So there's a little bit of, I suppose, sticker shock there. But if City Hall got taken down by a cyber attack, the sticker shock would be a lot worse. So I'd encourage my colleagues to go with the recommendation of ITEC, move forward on this, and let's just keep making sure that we're as protected as possible.
All right, thank you. Is there any other discussion, comments from council? All right, seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Those against say no. Motion carries 6-0. And then also for information technology, Microsoft Windows Data Center.
The current year budget includes the purchase of Microsoft Windows operating system for the city's servers. Our current version of Windows is going to the end of life. Therefore, staff and I recommend approval of the purchase of 4 Microsoft Windows Data Center 2022s at $6,156 each for a total of $24,624 through our contract with BPI.
All right, thank you. What is the wish of council,
Your Honor,
please?
I move that we approve the purchase of 4 Microsoft Windows Data Center 2022 at $6,156 each, totaling $24,624.
All right, thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor, I'll support.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Those against say no. Motion carries. Next up, we have 2 ordinances. The first is from the Police Department, Ordinance 2178, Distracted Driving Ordinance. This is the second reading.
Michigan law currently prohibits typing, sending a text message, or reading a text message while driving. As Madison has taken steps to become more pedestrian and bike-friendly city, is it important that we give our police officers the tools needed to be able to enforce distracted driving, especially regarding texting. The Chief of Police and the Assistant City Attorney have researched other city ordinances and have worked together on drafting a distracted driving ordinance which mirrors these ordinances in other cities. Specifically, this ordinance addresses physical manipulation of any wireless electronic entertainment or two-way communication device, such as a cell phone, a laptop, gaming devices, and also actions such as the driver taking their attention away from the operation of the motor vehicle to do things such as put on makeup, have physical interaction with their pets, eating, reading. A person found violating this ordinance would be responsible for a civil infraction and a fine of $100. Staff and the city attorney recommend approval of Ordinance 2178 on second and final reading.
All right, thank you. What is the wish of council?
Your Honor,
Councilor Rohrbach?
I move that council approves the ordinance 2178 on second reading.
Thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor,
Mayor Pro Tem Corbett?
support.
All right, thank you. Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Your Honor,
Please.
I just want to say I appreciated Ms. Govert's comments. I know that there's others in the audience tonight that have been concerned about this issue for a long time. I've heard from them directly, and so I'm happy that we're able to do this. I know that as a parent with young kids playing in the front yard and, crossing the street, eventually, I'm too scared to let them cross the street by themselves. Anyway, eventually crossing the street on their own, things like that. It's very easy, and I admit freely that I am guilty of this on occasion. Picking up my phone to put on a song that I wanted to hear or something like that, and it's stupid. My kids yell at me, so I just want to say thank you to staff for pushing this through and getting it to where we are today.
All right, thank you. Is there any comments, discussion from council?
Your Honor.
Please.
Yeah, I agree with Councilor Rohrbach. I think any tool that we can give our officers to keep the city as safe as possible, we need to do. It doesn't mean that they don't have discretion, if somebody is, stopping their, kid from like climbing out a window or something. I'm sure there's discretion there. But if somebody's, playing Pokemon Go on their phone or something, I think that's still a thing for a few people, right?
It is.
Maybe. I don't know. But for whatever it's worth, I think giving any opportunity to keep our city streets as safe as possible, especially with the influx of new drivers in the city who are avoiding the I-75 and just backing up, John, are taking 30 minutes to drive a mile sometimes. And so it'd be nice that we can police those new drivers in the city as well. I think my last note, though, is a positive one. At least nobody has to print out and hold a map anymore. So, as far as distracted driving goes, I heard the list, and it's like, okay, taking personal hygiene and eating and reading, like I remember the old days when there would, my parents would pull out the giant map while they're driving, or even just the MapQuest printouts, and at least we've moved past that. And I just encourage everybody to use your hands-free, whether it's Google or Siri or like whatever assistant you have. That's the best way to load locations or load a new song up.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Any other comments, discussion from council?
Your Honor,
Mr. Sherman?
there's also a subsection in the ordinance that, that creates exceptions for violating the ordinance in situations such as reporting a traffic accident, medical emergency, serious road hazard, road rage incidents, or the presence of a suspected drunk driver on the road, reporting an occurrence or situation in which the person believes his or her personal safety is in jeopardy, reporting or averting the perpetration or potential perpetration of a criminal act against the individual or another person, or carrying out official duties as a police officer, law enforcement official, member of the fire department, or operator of an emergency vehicle. So, police officers in Madison Heights and many of the surrounding communities are armed with not just in-car videos, but body cams, and this ordinance is meant to be taken seriously, even though the penalty is a civil infraction and a fine of $100, because we all know, as indicated earlier tonight, about everyone is familiar with and has seen many instances of distracted driving for a variety of reasons. So I do think it's necessary. Appreciate council's support.
All right, thank you. Any other comments? Okay. With that then, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Those against say no. Motion carries. The last ordinance is from the CED Director, Ordinance 2177, an amendment for temporary certificates of occupancy. This is also the second reading.
City staff proposes ordinance 2177 text amendment to extend the length in which temporary certificate of occupancies can remain effective. The current zoning ordinance limits a temporary certificate of occupancy to 6 months. As proposed, the text amendment will allow the city to grant a temporary certificate of occupancy up to 1 year. The Planning Commission held a public hearing on January the 18th and subsequently recommended approval of the proposed text amendment as presented. Staff and I recommend that City Council approve Ordinance 2177 on the second and final reading.
Thank you. What is the wish of council?
Your Honor,
Ms. Bliss?
I move that we approve Ordinance 2177 on the second and final reading.
Thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor, I'll support.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Those against say no. Motion carries. Next up, we have the minutes from the meetings on February 14th. What is the wish of council?
Your Honor,
Mr. Bliss?
I move that we adopt the minutes of the special council meeting of the 14th as printed.
Thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor, I'll support.
Thank you. Special. Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Those against say no. Motion carries. And then the minutes from the regular city council. What is the wish of council?
Your Honor,
Matilda?
I'd like to make a motion to adopt the regular city council meeting minutes of 2/14/22.
Thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor, I'll support.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Those against, say no. Motion carries. Thank you. All right. Next up, we have our boards and commission appointments. Just as a reminder, we used to do these every other meeting or so. We would appoint someone to this board and someone to that commission. And a few years ago, we made a change, and we still do the odd one during the year, but for the most part, we've set up so that the expiry and the appointments are going to be in February, today, and in August. So with that, Clerk, do you want to do this, or do you want me to just do this? We'll go through alphabetically. Is what we usually do? Okay. So normally what we do is we just go through this alphabetically. We all have our sheet with all the different boards, starting A for arts. This month, I asked city manager in the fall just to do up a bit of a review of where we were at with our boards and commissions, what they've done. You know, we have all these boards and commissions, and most of the time at closing comments, and Mr. Bliss does this all the time at closing comments, he talks about what the arts board is doing, or, you know, something that we've done on planning commission, and Councilor Rohrbach will talk about what's happening with the environmental committee. So we get sort of a hodgepodge of updates. I mean, I'm guilty myself. I'll talk about what the DDA is doing. And I thought it would be nice if we had once or twice a year where everyone got to hear what every group is doing. So now this is a bit outdated. It's from October, but it's a boards and commission review. So what I'd like to do this evening is just alphabetically, because it's the easiest way to do it, as we're going through each board. We're not going to read the entire thing, but just each representative can sort of talk a little bit about what they've done and then who it is that they're appointing.
Oh, geez.
So, and this is actually in our agenda. It's at the end of the agenda. So if anyone wants a copy of that. And so with that, Mr. Bliss, can you start us with the Arts Board?
Sure. Do we want to have the motion first, or do we want to give the update first?
Why don't you do an update?
Sure. Arts Board, the biggest thing, probably the Trail Tunes Music Festival. Doing the second one of those in August was a really big lift from the Arts Board. Also the Pumpkin Walk in October. And we did a couple of murals as well. The one in the library, we helped facilitate that, and then a couple of ground murals. Other than that, it's been a lot of fundraising, really trying to make sure that we've got some money, whether it's from grants, whether it's from small, like restaurant night type fundraisers, but we want to make sure that we have enough cash coming in because, you know, the Arts Board does not, you know, it's not a large budget item from the city council. So often everything that we do is fully funded by donations and, you know, whether it's businesses or residents. So yeah, a lot of that. But the big things, Trail Tunes, Pumpkin Walk, you know, thousands of residents between the two. And both were very successful with different groups in the city, so.
All right, thank you. And those are planned again for this year, I believe? Yes.
They are planned again for this year, hopefully bigger and better every time we do it. It's, you know, the first time we did Trail Tunes, it was, you know, kind of a idea, like how do we get people together during the pandemic safely? And it's just continuously grown from there. So any business owners who are listening, we could really use some sponsorships coming into this year's Trail Tunes Festival to make it bigger and better than ever. With that, I think I can do this in one motion, I hope,
Okay.
just to save us some time. I move that we appoint current alternate Michael Covert to the open main seat with an expiration of 8/31/23, declaring his alternate seat vacant, and then appointing Jennifer Nagel to that alternate seat, which also expires on 8/31/23.
All right, thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor,
Councilor Rohrbach?
support.
All right, thank you. Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any more discussion?
Your Honor, just one comment.
Yes?
No problem with the compound motion as long as council specifies the effective date at the end of the term for each one of the nominees. So the motion was fine as made and seconded.
Okay. All right,
Awesome.
thank you. Any other discussion? All right, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against say no. Motion carries. Thank you. So for the next board, which does not have a report, it is the Civil Service Commission, and we have Kevin Scheid is willing. So can I get a motion from council?
Your Honor, I'll make a motion that we accept the accept Kevin Scheid to be on the Civil Service Commission, ending with a term of 2/28/2028.
All right, thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor.
Soltis?
Support?
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against say no. Motion carries. For the Construction Board of Appeals, there seems to be, we have 3 spots that are open, and we have 1 person who's applied. Where's the dates? Oh,
Your Honor, if I just may, this is a board that only meets as needed, and there are specific requirements to be on this board.
right. So we have 1 person who has applied who is in the electrical trades, and that would qualify. So if I can get a motion from council regarding Del Larango,
Sorry.
Your Honor,
Soltis?
I'd like to make the motion that we accept for electrical trades, Construction Board of Appeals, Del Larango.
For a term expiring
Oh.
August 2023.
Exactly, yes.
Is there support?
Your Honor, I'll support.
All right, motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Your Honor, can we have the clerk tell us what the requirements are for the board? She has that.
Sure.
Thanks.
They have to be a member of the trades, whether it be construction, electrical, plumbing, and they meet to determine whether or not determinations by the building official should stand or not.
Okay. Are there any other questions, comments from council? All right, seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against say no. Motion carries. Next up is the DDA, the Downtown Development Authority. I am actually going to pass on this right now. Last year, the DDA updated their bylaws. They wanted to make a recommendation before the appointments were made, and this didn't happen at our last meeting, so I'm just going to push this off until after our next DDA meeting. Next up is the Environmental Citizens Committee.
Your Honor. So the Environmental Citizens Committee has been working hard on various projects throughout the year. There is a renewal of the seed library, which is located at our public library, where you can, for free, stock up on vegetable seeds and things like that. A lot of information about those plants and things that are available. It is stocked and maintained by our volunteers in the ECC. We've also been discussing quite a bit about potential options for residential composting and education about recycling and recycling bin giveaways, things like that. The Bloom Project is a subset of the ECC, and a lot of work has been done with that on additional native gardens in the city, planting them in our parks and different areas, education around what those native gardens are, pollinator gardens, and how they benefit both. They take a couple years to really establish, to become really beautiful, but once they do, they are stunning, and they give back to the environment in a really significant way. And in order to do all these things, oh, I'm sorry, one other thing was the tree program. In the tree program with the DPS, a lot of our work has been focused on planting more trees in the city, which has been a big project of mine, or passion of mine. And, over the last year, we've planted close to 500 trees in the city of Madison Heights. And that is just a remarkable improvement for the city, and it's continuing on into coming years. So every chance we get, we're replacing trees that are that were taken down for construction. It takes a year or two once the construction passes. If you lose your tree, those trees are being replaced. But then those of us that lost trees in our neighborhoods years ago, before this program was put into place, every chance we get, we're looking for opportunities for grant as a city. The city is looking for opportunities for grants to fund the planting of more trees for those residences that missed out on, there was a gap in that funding. So those are coming along, and just really thrilled about that. The ECC is also funding a lot of the work, especially with the native gardens in the city, through plant sales. There's a native plant sale that we hold at least twice a year right out here in the Civic Center parking lot, and those have been pretty wildly successful in bringing in a steady stream of income in order to plant more gardens in the city, and so that's been really great. So that's what we've been doing. All right, put my glasses on. All right, I would like to make a motion to appoint Nicole Fox, Jason Theodoroff, and Corinne Porter to the regular terms expiring 2/28/25. There's currently an additional term that is open that will expire in 2024 that is still open. So if we get somebody else, nobody else has applied for this commission. So if you're interested in this stuff, please apply. But that's my motion.
Okay.
Cut off that last part. But.
Did I get a second for that motion for the appointments?
Your Honor,
Liz?
I'll support.
Thanks.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
I should have included that other part in my discussion. There it is.
Is there any discussion? Just briefly, can you just tell us what you're looking for in, like, who would be a good person to apply?
Who would be a good person to apply for the ECC? Really, anybody who is interested in getting their hands dirty as far as getting in the dirt, planting, volunteering, being part of that initiative. People who are willing to volunteer, to participate in various educational opportunities, things like that. It's somebody who wants to be actively involved in improving both the environment and the beauty of our city.
All right, thank you. Are there any other questions, comments? All right, all in favor of the appointments, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those against say no. Motion carries. Next up is the Historical Commission.
Yeah, do you want me to comment on that?
Yeah, Mr. Corbett, if you wanted, I'm not sure. I know that because of COVID, I think there were no meetings or very few meetings, but if you want to comment on anything Historical Commission's done?
Well, I was just in case somebody's wondering, it's not just a bunch of old people sitting around the table. They pursue a number of projects during normal times. You're right about that, COVID. But in terms of their main responsibility is maintaining the historical rooms downstairs, which is a repository for a lot of old artifacts, and that's ancient. A lot of old stuff from the city, old campaign posters, old projects that we've done over the years. And it's really a very dedicated group of people who are involved in it. And we lost, as many of you know, as all of you know, Tony Bliss, but we gained his son last year. So we will carry on, and hopefully we'll be able to get the historic rooms open shortly. But it is a problem. It is a confined space. So there has to be safety concerns maintained. And that's a nice lead-in to me. If the chair is willing, I'd like to offer some nominations.
Yes, please.
I would move to reappoint Martha Kehoe to a term ending in 2025, February 2025. Lee Deliza, I'm sorry, the light is bad here, to a term which will be also ending on the 20th of February 2025. And last but not least, Justin Suarez to a term that will be concluding in 2025. Also, I noticed we have an applicant, William Meyer, who has applied. So I would move to appoint him to the Historic Commission to a term which would also end on February 20th, 2025. That's my motion.
All right, thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor,
Please.
I second.
All right, thank you. Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? All right, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Those against say no. Motion carries. Thank you. All right, that was page one. Next up, we have the Human Relations and Equity Commission. Councilor Hvac.
Thank you. So the Human Relations and Equity Commission has been busy. It is a new commission that, had a year of ups and downs, but the last year was the first Juneteenth festival that was held on June 18th in the city park, the Civic Center Park out here. Really fabulous event. It was rainy, quite rainy, but it was a fabulous event otherwise, and just really proud of the work that was done on that. In addition, the commission worked to change how the genders were requested on all city forms and some various proclamations. In addition to that, in this last year, or in this last few months, we were able to have a new strategic plan put together and some really exciting things coming up in the coming year. We're looking forward to building a volunteer database, to creating a book club that celebrates awareness and correlates with awareness months and things like that. We're looking to beginning a cultural event, fundraiser, family fun type of thing, and putting together a cookbook that celebrates our diversity in the city, in addition to and then we're going to be working together with the Madison Heights Citizens United to put on the second annual Juneteenth celebration this year. So a lot of different things. There's more on my list, but I'm not going to read them all. And so some exciting things coming up in the coming year. And I wanted to take this time right here to acknowledge that we did this large strategic planning thing this year, and it was about a half day at the library. The group got together and talked through a whole lot of different things, talked about what our direction was, and came up with a really succinct timeline of how we're going to actually achieve these things, because it's so easy with a group like this to get lost in the weeds. And so now we have a really beautiful path and a map to help us get there so we can really achieve our goals along the way. And I want to acknowledge Nicole Fox, who's one of our alternate member of the HREC. She is an experienced strategic planning, what is that called?
Professional.
Yeah, professional. She does. She hosts strategic planning things. Anyway, she brought in her colleague, and they were able to facilitator is the word I was looking for. They were able to facilitate this really great program for us and help produce this map. So I appreciate Nicole and Lexi and the work that they did in order to get us there. Now, we have 2 regular terms, so I'm going to start with those. I'd like to appoint Nicole Fox, who is currently an alternate, to a regular term expiring 8/31/23. And I would like to appoint Toya Aaron to the second regular term expiring 8/31/23. And then I would like to appoint Sandra Quackenbush to the alternate term that was just vacated by Nicole Fox, expiring 8/31/22.
Okay. Is there support?
Your Honor,
Mr. Bliss?
I'll support.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Your Honor?
Please.
Doesn't have to be a now thing, but I'm looking at the list of people who've applied, and you've got
Many people.
a ton of great people on there. It might be worth it. There's right now the makeup of the board is 5 members, 2 alternates. It might be worth it to increase one or the other to be able to get another active person on there, just to suggestion that I would support if the folks who are the council reps on the board would want to do that.
Your Honor,
Please.
I think we were trying to do that earlier this year, and it was kind of changed a bit, but I would support that as well.
Well, perhaps at a future meeting, we can look at doing something like that, maybe add on an alternate so we don't have to worry about quorum or something. But, all right. Is there any other discussion?
Your Honor, I just want to also say we have appointments from the Madison and Lamphir District as part of the commission, and we do not have attendance very often from particularly our Madison District representative, and I just encourage that representative to attend and to participate as often as possible.
Your Honor, just so you know, they have just recently appointed a brand-new representative.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
you should see a difference.
Thank you for that update. Okay. Okay, is there any other discussion? All right, seeing none, all in favor of these appointments, please signify by saying aye.
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 Those against, say no. Motion carries. Next up, we have Information Technology Advisory Committee, ITAC. Mr. Bliss?
Yes, Your Honor. So, that's the board of all the technology nerds with acronyms that I can say that is like the diet version of the technology nerd on the committee. We don't meet very frequently. We meet at least once annually, and then anytime there's a big technology purchase that the city's going to do, to review every item in the RFP, make suggestions based on the plans of our technology vendor. And so I think probably the biggest things came with regards to the cybersecurity initiatives and the disaster recovery plan recommendations that ITAC gave. But we also helped to evaluate our existing technology provider, and I think that discussion was very valuable as we decided to give them an extension. Really diving into their strategy, what personnel they have, how they operate. Honestly, the people on the ITAC committee asked questions that I'm sure we would have never thought of. So it was very, very helpful to have them at the helm. And I kind of consider it not even the break glass in case of emergency committee, but they're the proactive setting up smoke detectors in a room because they're there to see and make sure that everything that we do on the technology side, which is now so prevalent through every area of City Hall, is done in a way that's safe, secure, and with the times. So I would move that we reappoint all four of these members, Dale Gardner, Curtis Kogelman, Robert Dieter, and Paul Timmons, to their respective terms that end in February 28, 2025.
All right, thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor, I'll support.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? All right, seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against say no. Motion carries. Next up, we have the Library Advisory Board.
Your Honor?
Your Honor,
But
I've asked the city manager to fill in for me on the report here because there's quite a bit that's been going on over the period of time with the library, and I didn't want to miss a highlight. So I'll defer to the city manager for a moment.
You can go ahead.
You can go.
Were you going to provide an update? You can go ahead if you want.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
sorry?
I'll take it, and if you have something you want to add.
Sure.
No.
No, I was talking to Mark Bliss. You couldn't hear him,
Oh.
but he was going to provide the update, so I'm going to do it, and he's going to chime in if there's something else. So the
Okay.
Library Advisory Board is, as the name implies, helps advise us on programs that we're going to have at the library. We try to meet at least probably 3 times a year, a little less during COVID, but they were active this past year in the Kaboom grant design and the different features that we had. So that's the play features and the patio that you see now around the library. They've had input on the Civic Center project, which I hope most of you have heard about, but that's going to be a renovation of the library, and they're going to be involved with that as it moves along as well. They participated in a Books and Beats program as part of Trail Tunes, which provided different features with reading and crafts for children. And did you have anything else you wanted to add?
Yeah, I think that covers it. But I will say, Your Honor, if I may, I haven't spoke to Mayor Pro Tem Corbett on this, who's the council rep. I'm the alternate. But at the last meeting, we didn't hit quorum, and there was a discussion of waiting to fill these seats because we would potentially turn them into alternate seats, which is easier to do if the seat is open than if it's not. And we just got a new library director in, and so I'm assuming that we'll have a meeting shortly and can kind of dive into what that board might look like going forward. But right now, that board has one alternate, like one single alternate. Everybody else is members at large. And so it does make it difficult sometimes to hit quorum because you just don't have that backup. So I would ask that we do something similar with the DDA and just maybe push this a meeting or two to give the Library Advisory Board just a chance to review that. They were also looking at adding student reps as ex officio members. So love to do that all in one fell swoop.
Okay, that is fine. Thank you for the update.
Your Honor?
Yes.
I believe that there are 4 openings as I'm reading this, as I read it. And I'd like to move to fill them if I could. I can't
hear.
Okay, so
or there are 4 openings
there
and
are.
nobody to fill them.
There are 3 regular and 1 alternate opening.
Okay.
And Mr. Bliss was just saying at the last meeting, there was discussion about not filling these right away because there may be a change to the makeup of the board and changing some of the alternates to, or regulars to alternates. So,
Okay.
so he was requesting that we not fill them. However, if you want to fill them, and or if
No,
you want to push them
I'll
off.
wait. I'll consult with Mr. Bliss this week and we'll see what's up.
Okay.
Your Honor,
Yes.
the only thing I would add to the discussion is I think if council decides not to make some of these appointments tonight, then we may have problems reaching a quorum for any upcoming
With
meetings.
3 vacancies. With the 3 vacancies and also the vacant alternate, it's going to be very difficult to make a quorum to have a Library Advisory Board meeting, just so you know.
Your Honor, wouldn't the quorum then be for the filled member seats, the percentage of people in the filled member seats? So the quorum would be a lower number.
I'd have to look at the,
That is how it is worded in all of our boards and commissions
Yes.
now, but we still have a very hard time making the library. I'm just saying, for being on the Library Advisory Board meeting for like 6 years, it's very hard to make quorum with fewer people. But
So,
we can just wait. I mean, we can have a meeting and just talk about it. It's,
yeah, I mean, Your Honor, alternatively, we could just make a couple of them into alternate seats here. I mean, I'd hate to jump ahead, but that is the bulk of the discussion, is we need to change some of these from members at large into alternates, probably 2. So I'm good either way, whatever Mayor Pro Tem Corbett and everybody wants to do here. But yeah, quorum is difficult if you have that many members at large without enough alternates.
Clerk, did you want to chime in?
I'm not 100% sure, but I think the library board is formed by ordinance, so you'd have to change the ordinance.
Me too.
Okay. So we're going to take a moment to check that, because if that is the case, then we are going to need to fill those. Okay. Next up, we're going to take a break for a moment from the library. We're going to come back to the library, but we're going to go on to Parks and Rec, which, Councilor Warba?
That's me.
Okay, sorry, you know what, hold on a second. It is an
All right.
ordinance, so if we don't, if we don't fill them, then,
You just can't, you can't change the membership without changing the ordinance.
okay, so we're going to have to do an ordinance change in order to change so should we just go ahead and make the appointments this evening and at a later date look at changing the ordinance, which is going to be a lot more of a situation than.
Your Honor, I defer to Mayor Pro Tem Corbett, but I think the goal would be to not have as many members at large and move to alternates. So, you know, if it's easy enough for us to change somebody's designation when we update the ordinance, then that'd be fine. But if we don't want to deal with that at all, I'd say let's put the ordinance change potentially on a future agenda and just deal with it then.
Okay. Mr. Corbett, what do you want to do? This is your board.
Yeah, I guess that there's no harm. Well, first of all, we're not planning on having a library board meeting in the next 2 weeks, are we?
No.
No, there won't be a meeting in the next couple of weeks.
So I would imagine we could wait for 2 weeks, and then if we're back at the point where we need to fill it in order to make the changes, then we can do it at that point. But if 2 weeks isn't going to affect anything one way or the other, I understand the clerk's, or pardon me, Mrs. Marsh's point about quorums and stuff, but I think we can wait 2 weeks to straighten this out.
Okay, I'm fine with that. All right, then we will have no motion on that, and we will move to Parks and Rec. Councilor Rohrbach, if you can give us an update.
Sure, thank you. Let me get back to the right page on my thing here.
Flipping around here.
Is literally how many pages in this? 300? Okay, there's a lot. Trying to find the right page. Sorry. Thank you. All right. So the Parks and Recreation Board meets with the staff of DPS, so we talk about the parks and the Recreation Department, but also we discuss roads and maintenance in general in the city. So it's more than just the parks. So it has. Sorry, I'm just reading this note real quick. All right, so we have done in this last year, a lot of things that we've been talking about are the improvements at the parks, including new play structures that are going in, and Edison, Rosie's Park, Civic Center Park, many of the parks are getting brand new play structures. A lot of that has been funded by outside grant opportunities, and our staff has been wonderful about finding and applying for those grants and being awarded those grants. We're looking at additional, there's been fencing updates at Greenleaf Park, at 12 Sherry, back fencing and things like that in the various ball fields. Those get a ton of use. I'm not a ball player, so I don't really pay attention, but those that do will have noted over the last several years, they've been really deteriorating, kind of bending, and not been a safe place for a while. So I'm pleased to see that a lot of those are finally coming into play. Rain gardens in the Civic Center Park, the Kaboom grant at the library, all of these things have been things that we've been talking a lot about. We also created an events committee, subcommittee that helped to coordinate and to collaborate with other boards. Participated in Juneteenth and Trail Tunes and things like that. They also started a walking club that met on Tuesday evenings last summer. We anticipate restarting that. It would be Treads on Tuesdays. A great group of people participated in that week by week. We did yoga in the park. those kinds of things that were a lot of fun. We also talked about road construction a lot, which is not fun, but completely necessary, and I'll address some of that again later. Participated in the tree lighting and various things like that. As far as recreation goes, the rec department has been shifting and changing and adapting to our current environment in a pandemic. I give them a lot of props for the work that they've been doing on that, and I'll note that our golf outing this year brought in $11,000, which is more than any golf outing has done in the past. They also have a Glow Golf event that started, that is selling out now. It's an evening event and a lot of fun. Family fun nights with bingo and various things like that. So just really wonderful things that are going on in our Parks Department, Recreation Department, and in the roads. So, I think that's all I want to say.
That's a good update. These are mayor appointments, but that was a
Oh,
good
I'm sorry,
update.
sorry.
No, that's okay. That was a good update. I appreciate that. And yeah, just for those of you who didn't go to Juneteenth or to Trail Tunes, I don't remember if it was at both of them, but they had a lot of just activities to do, which was really nice to see. It was really nice to see that. I think that's the first time I remember seeing Parks and Rec at one of our events, so that was really good. I appreciated that. With the appointments, so we have all of the appointments, all of the terms are expiring February 28th, 2024. There are 3 people who are currently on who are going to come back, or who are willing to come back, and I'm going to make those appointments as well as the 2 new people. So I would like someone to, I guess, make the motion to appoint Jeremy Carroll, or to reappoint Jeremy Carroll, John Zazurian, Baslicki Harris to their positions, as well as make a new appointment for Mary Bush to the regular and Lisa Wright to the alternate. Can I get a motion for that?
Your Honor, I'll make a motion that for the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, that we appoint Jeremy Carroll, John Dzugarian, sorry about messing up the name, Vaslecki Harris, who's the other, you have Lisa Wright, and who's the last one?
Lisa Wright was the alternate and Mary Bush was the regular.
Okay, Mary Bush to the regular and Lisa Wright to the alternate, all expiring the February 28th, 2024.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
Your Honor.
Yep.
I'll second.
Thank you. A motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? All right, seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against say no. Motion carries. Thank you. Next up is the Planning Commission, and then the ZBA rep. So this is also a mayor's appointment. I am not appointing anybody new to the Planning Commission, but if there is someone who is interested and has some kind of a background with this, a lot of the ordinances that we're looking at, these come through the Planning Commission before they get here. So if that's something you're interested in, please feel free to apply. I would like to have a motion to reappoint Cliff Oglesby to the Planning Commission as the ZBA rep. Can I get a motion?
Your Honor?
Yes. Yes. Yes, Mr. Corbett?
Okay. I move to reappoint Clifford Oglesby to the Planning Commission, specifically the ZBA representative seat.
All right, thank you. Can I get support?
Your Honor. I'll support.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Just for clarification, if you are on the Planning Commission, you cannot be on any other board or commission except for the ZBA, where there is one crossover spot. So we did have a situation, I think it was just a year ago, where someone who was on the historical board was appointed to the Planning Commission. They needed to resign from the historical board. So just sort of clarify that there. But if there's any other, no other discussion?
Your Honor, that also should read 2025 on your sheet, not 2022.
Okay. And so this would be for the terms ending February 2025. All right.
Yep. And Your Honor,
Yes.
just to confirm, the motion is to confirm the mayor's appointment, correct?
Yes, the motion to confirm the mayor's appointment. Yes. All right. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those against say no. All right, motion carries, thank you. And then next up, last up, is Zoning Board of Appeals. Mr. Corbett?
Your Honor,
Yes.
I was just going to offer a couple of comments on the zoning board, maybe a little more extensive than I did last time around or the year before that. The Zoning Board of Appeals is one of those kind of obscure boards in the city that has tremendous influence. Like its cousin, the Planning Commission, it influences the direction and the growth of the city. Quite often, the Zoning Board of Appeals hears requests to waive the strict application of the zoning law to a particular property, a particular case. Now, that being said, in other words, you want to open a business and the zoning would require normally 100 parking spots and you've only got room for 97. The board can find that that's substantially in compliance and the greater interest of the community would be served by granting you your waiver. That type of thing. It happens both on residential properties or maybe a property is a little small to put in a 2-car garage, but if the neighbors don't object and it's pretty close, you may get a waiver for it. They quite often though, over the I've been on and off the zoning board over 40 years, and the board has often led the way in terms of where the community was going, in terms of development and temperament for zoning changes. The board, when the board begins to grant a number of waivers, normally that gets flagged by staff and goes over to Planning Commission saying there's a law or an ordinance that isn't working and you may need to change it. So the zoning board has over the years influenced policy direction that way. So it's a very important group within our community. I will tell you that you are blessed with a group of tremendous public servants. Before I make nominations, Your Honor, I have a question for the attorney. It used to be as in 2 years ago, one nomination, one motion would appoint the ZBA rep. But the way it's looking to me, it seems to be implying I'm going to have to make a second motion. Is that correct?
I think you can do it either way, but the terms, you're talking about a council ZBA rep, Mayor Pro Tem Corbett, or are you talking about?
No.
The member of the planning commission?
We have a rep that goes from ZBA to the planning commission.
Yeah, we have one member. One member that can serve on both the ZBA and the planning commission.
Now, we just appointed him to the planning commission, but I see he's up again for reappointment. So to the ZBA. So should I make that appointment?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Your Honor, then in that case, I would move to appoint Clifford Oglesby to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a term ending in February of 2025. I would move to promote Deborah Ott, currently an alternate on the board, to a regular seat effective or ending 2/28/25. And last but not least, I would move to appoint Christina Rogers to the alternate seat, which will expire also in February of 2025.
Thank you. Can I get support?
Your Honor, I'll support, but also to Mayor Pro Tem Corbett, if Deborah Ott's seat, if you declare that vacant in your motion, you could appoint one more alternate.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
There is one alternate, and now you've just, with Deborah Ott moving into a regular, there's now an extra alternate if you want to fill her spot now, you can.
Oh, well, yes, I'll fill in the first, yes, well, I'll circle back. If I may amend my motion, I would additionally move to appoint Cassandra Berrigan to the newly created vacant alternate seat. And I would move that the alternate seats, which I just got done moving people, be declared vacant and open for the next person coming in, Ms. Berrigan.
Yep.
Or can I just do it the way I did it?
You can do it the way you did it.
Okay, never mind. Skip that last part. That's my motion, Your Honor.
Is there support?
Your Honor, I'll second.
All right, thank you. Is there any, motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? All right, seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 And those against say no. Motion carries. Thank you. And that's it. All right, so that concludes our regular meeting. I invite closing comments from council, starting with Mayor Pro Tem Corbett.
I will again be brief tonight. My apologies to everyone. I had planned, when I woke up this morning, to be in chambers this evening finally. But I can't, apparently I missed something on my calendar. And the blood test that I was waiting on, I lightly touched on this before, that would confirm my immunity being okay, did not come in today. It'll come in tomorrow. So I'm stuck for one more night. But other than that, I'm doing fine. And I will still plan on discussing all of this with you my next time I'm in chambers, which hopefully will be 2 weeks from now if things don't keep changing. So, all right. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Bliss?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you, everybody who hung in there with us. This was a long meeting, but a very productive one. We passed 2 ordinances. We filled all the board and commission seats, and we spent about, what, $1.2 million on major projects in the city. If you're keeping track of the investments that we made, each of those were very significant that will help to continue to move our city forward in a positive way. So I appreciate everybody sticking with us, whether you're here in person or watching remotely. Just I guess one final shout out to anybody at all who wants to join one of these active boards and commissions. We're doing a lot of great stuff, and we didn't even tap into the new crime commission that Councilman Fleming is the rep for. I'm sure he'll include that in his closing comments, because there's a lot of great stuff happening with every one of our boards here. And so if you're not currently serving on a board or commission in our city, but you want to be active, you have a passion to see the city improve and do better, make sure to get your application in. You know, typically the way that it would work is you're in the queue. We, every 6 months, do this crazy hour-long shindig of us appointing. You'll usually be an alternate before you're a member, and then eventually become the regular member. But even as an alternate, you get to participate in everything that you're doing. And so if you love arts, come join me. Help plan trail tunes. It'll be a lot of fun. If you love the library, we're making major investments in the library right now, as well as the Active Adult Center. Both of those have boards you can join. So there's a lot of great stuff. I would be remiss if I didn't encourage everyone to apply. Even if there's no vacant seats today, there will always be a vacant seat in the future, and we could use your passion, excitement, and commitment to the city serving on one of these boards. That's it, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Sherman?
Your Honor, as you alluded to in your invocation, our hearts and prayers go out to the people of Ukraine. I have a special place in my heart for Ukraine. My oldest daughter actually worked in a kids' summer camp in the western part of Ukraine for a summer. I think her job was teaching English, and she really had a wonderful experience. I'm hoping and praying for a speedy diplomatic resolution so that the deaths, bloodshed, and destruction will stop. That's it, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mrs. Marsh?
I have no comment tonight.
Jim? Anything from the clerk's office?
Nothing this evening?
Counselor Rohrbach?
I haven't talked for a few weeks, so you guys get ready. Just kidding. I do have, I want to note that we all have noted that 12 Mile is closed until November between around that 75. I understand your pain, everybody. My mother lives in Madison Heights at Campbell and 12 Mile, and I live at John R. and 12 Mile. It takes like 3 miles to get, it takes a lot longer to get to her house, but it used to be like a 3-minute drive. So it's hard, and I understand. And I think I want to encourage all of our viewers and everybody here to have patience. It's going to get better once people get used to it. I know our police department is, doing all they can, and we need to protect our residents in our neighborhoods who are experiencing increased traffic on their streets. My daughter's best friend lives like right off of Dartmouth there, and near the Tim Hortons, and they're seeing it. It's hard for them, and I understand. And I want to say, hang in there. In the end, I think we're going to be so thrilled with the work that is done. It's going to make our city more accessible. It's going to make the travel back and forth in that area better. It's going to make John R. traffic better, even though John R. isn't being done. It will be better once all of that is done. So hang in there. It feels like a long time, but it's not as long as it is in the big picture. I do want to note that 13 Mile will also be closed just down to 2 lanes for in a couple weeks, start and through November. So it's going to be hard. I just want to say it, and I feel for everybody. All right, then the other thing I want to mention is there is a group called Turn Oakland County Green. They are an environmental group that is gathering people around the county to push for greener infrastructure, green projects, and climate change advocacy. They're having a rally and march in Royal Oak at the Centennial Park in Royal Oak on April 23rd. They have a festival fair type of thing going from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. There's the marches at 10 and the rally at 11. Everybody is welcome. If you want more information, go to Turn Oakland County Green and just Google it. You'll find it. And then I'm sorry, my notes here. I took off my glasses because I want to see you guys, but then I can't read my paper. All right. They want to make Oakland County a model for environmental leadership. And so they're joined by groups like the Sierra Club, the Clean Water Action, Michigan League of Conservation Voters, and many others. So, and I want to join with Mr. Sherman in sending my thoughts to the people of Ukraine. My family has spent time in Ukraine, not me, but my niece is named Odessa for the city in Ukraine. My brother and sister-in-law have spent a lot of time doing work over there, and so it's near and dear to their hearts, and so therefore to my heart. And I am praying for the people and for peace, not just there, but all over. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Fleming?
So my family is also from the Ukraine. My great-grandmother came over during the Russian Civil War in 1917 from Kyiv, and so what's going on really it means a lot to me and my family living here in the United States. It's kind of, even though we're not really feeling it here in the United States as far as we're not living it, the war over there, I think that it's something that touches everybody one way or another. I also ditto the comments about the traffic. I believe that everybody should have patience for those drivers who are maybe lost trying to get across town. There's, the backup of traffic is really bad. I remember today just at Campbell and 11 Mile, it took a very long time to just come back into Madison Heights, and that's right now one of the very few roads to get over to Royal Oak. And So just have patience with other drivers. If there's a issue that you see that you want to report, I would suggest that it's made in a constructive manner that you can present to the city manager and forward it maybe on email, so it can be kind of looked at and see if it's even something that we can do. The Crime Commission, I'm now the new representative on the Crime Commission. What we're looking on right now is crime statistics. There is a dashboard that's on the police website. Another thing we're doing is going to be reviewing the accreditation for the Madison Heights Police Department. They're going to be getting that soon. I believe that comes back to maybe the council, maybe. So we're looking into those things. And then finally, I just want to say thanks to Senator Stephanie Chang for making her visit here to our meeting tonight. That's it.
Thank you. Councilman Soltis?
Thank you, Your Honor. First of all, I want to talk about, Public Works here is fantastic. They do a great job. But if we can fill out these potholes on Edward Street south of 12 Mile, that would be fantastic. I was driving down there today and it took a while. What's that? I should have. Saying that I popped a tire going down to Quinder a few weeks back, and that wasn't too much fun. But good news, the Biden administration, I'm going to read here, Biden administration announces some significant reforms in nursing home. They announced that it would be implementing a variety of nursing home reforms, including the creation of a minimum staffing standard in nursing homes. If you've ever been in a nursing home, staffing is pretty bad. Accountability for poor performing nursing homes. That's good. Increased transparency around ownership and finances, and support for the direct care. So hopefully they'll do that, and that would be fantastic. Lastly, I just want to do a shout out to Natalie's Bakery. If you've ever been there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You cannot leave there without like 10 things in your hand. It's just fantastic. So 10 or more. But anyhow, it's a great place. So if you can visit there, I appreciate that. That's all. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Want to echo a couple of sentiments today. The traffic is awful. It's taking everyone forever to get places. It reminds me of a couple of years ago when 75, John R., and Stevenson, I think, were all being worked on at the same time. A lot of this, most of this, has to do with funding. And I remember at that point, we actually appealed to the federal government because however the change of dates were, and they said, sure, you can push it off, but we're not giving you 80% of the money. And, unfortunately, that's what it comes down to. It's horrible coordination, and the city has very little to do with it. So please have patience. I'm one of the people watching the cars drive by. I'm also one of the people sitting there crawling along trying to figure out how else I can get somewhere. So just have patience with that. Everyone's in the same boat. No one's happy with it. But when it's over, we're going to have some really nice roads. So keep that in mind. With respect to what's going on in the Ukraine, I guess my personal connection would be over 100 years ago when my great-grandparents left Russia because they were escaping religious persecution and they fled to Ellis Island. And I ended up going back there 30 years ago. And I was there just a few days after the failed coup in 1991. So it's just, it's heartbreaking on so many levels because nobody wants this. So there isn't a whole lot we can do except pray good thoughts, do kind things. There's different organizations that are collecting money to help. So it's a really sad situation. For the city, so all the boards and commission meetings, just a reminder, those are all open to the public. Most of them have subcommittees. So if you applied to a board and you didn't get on, or you're thinking you might want to apply and you're interested, go to the meetings, see what you can do. The DDA has different subcommittees, and we have our promotions committee is hosting a St. Patrick's Day green crawl for St. Patrick's Day, just to sort of highlight our DDA businesses. So that's something that came about because of the promotions committee, and Jennifer Zamars came up with this idea, and I was like, this is great, just run with that. So, if you have ideas on something that you think might be good for one of the boards and commissions, take the idea to them. It might not happen, but all our boards and commissions are open, and like I say, most of them have subcommittees, so you can get involved even if you're not actually appointed. And then with respect to the Crime Commission, the report that I asked Mrs. Marsh to do was a month after the Crime Commission started, so that was not in there. But yeah, I expect that when we do this again in August, that we'll have some kind of report up till June or something, and then Councilman Fleming will have a bit more to report. But the Crime Commission is being active, and they are looking at different things. So with that, our next meeting is going to be on Pi Day. It's March 14th. The time is now 9:10. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you. Good night.